Okay, for this project, we're going to use Django to hold the entire project. The calculation logic will be handled by JavaScript, and the styling is CSS, of course, and Django HTML template for the markup. Yeah. So we're going to use Tarmux to start the Django project. cdcim. So right here, I'm gonna make another directory. I'm gonna call it mkdir. I'm gonna call it, I don't know, maybe calc. Yeah, and cd into that, cd calculator, and then here I'm gonna start a Django project. Alright, now that we have a Django project, let's get back to our editor. Inside here, I'm gonna just find my thing. I think I made it in the DCIM. Yeah, calculator. Right there. So inside the calculator project, I'm gonna make a views.py file just to minimize things a little bit. So I'm gonna make views.py, and inside the main project directory, I'm gonna make a new folder called templates. So here, say templates. We're gonna need one single template, and I'm gonna stick to calc.html. Yeah, inside settings.py file, we need to configure where Django should look for our templates. So here under templates, we should go inside dirs, and then we give it we tell it to go into our base directory. Yeah, base directory, then slash, then the name of the folder, which is in our case templates with an S. So right here, we get back to our views.py file. We create a view for the home template. Now I'm gonna do views. I'm gonna do def to define a function, and I'm gonna say the function is called calc. Everything should be calculator right now. It takes in a request as usual, and then inside the function, I'm just gonna return the template. So return render, the render function. We need to import that, but let's finish things up. Request, and then this one is required, right? You already know that. So, and then inside here, I'm gonna do calc.html. Yeah, right there, we're done with that. So we're gonna do from to import the render from Django dot shortcuts import render right there. So we're done with the creating of the view and import of the render function to render the HTML template we have right in our base directory. Great. You already know that Django automatically looks for a folder called templates, right? And then this templates folder you should not put it inside your render statement, because Django automatically detects it. So you don't have to waste your time typing it, okay? But even if you type templates, I think you're gonna get an error because it cannot find templates inside templates. So it's assumed that the template is already inside the templates folder, and then the name of your file. Hope that is understood. So now we go to urls.py to map the URL to our view. Now this one should be very easy. We should just say path. Whoever goes to the root directory of our homepage should be taken to our calc view. Yeah, and then we should give this route a name. The name should be, I don't know, calc. Yeah, and obviously we need to import this one, because so we should do from .views import calc. So we're done with this setup, and in order to test things out, let's go into our calc.html and render something in the homepage. So let's say we're gonna do like this, and here I'm gonna say calc. Okay, calc, and here I'm gonna do an h3, say, come on, calculator homepage. Now I'm gonna do Python manage your py run saga. So you can go ahead and open it. So if we come to our browser right now, we should see calculator homepage. So I think we're good to go. We should go ahead and start creating our calculator. Great. Okay, right here I'm gonna create my div for the calculator. Yeah. So I have my calculator div, and inside this div I can start creating things up. So I should add my input field for the result. As in, if I type a number, you're gonna see it inside this input field. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say input and do this. The type should be text, yeah, and the ID should be, I should call it result, and then give it a class of result2. So class result, and I'll make sure that it is read only. Okay, and then we will have a div for our buttons, right? So dot buttons, and inside this we're gonna create our buttons, right? So usually button, and then this button should have a class of onClick. So but right now I'm gonna type the number that I want it to appear on this button. I'm gonna start with 7. Okay, and then I'm gonna give it an onClick of JavaScript. onClick. Okay, and I'm gonna just say if anybody clicks on this button, it should call the append to result function. The append to result function, we're gonna create it later. It's gonna be the function that would be called to display every number that you typed inside the result right here. We should give it a function to code. So append to result, append to result. Okay, and this function should be called, and then we give it the number we want as a parameter. The rest of these buttons should have are gonna have just the same classes, so I'm gonna just copy everything. What I did is that I created this calculator div. I give it an input field where I call it a result. In this result, we're gonna display the numbers we clicked on, and then I go ahead and created a set of numbers and inside buttons. These numbers are like this: 8, 7, 8, 9, and then a break, and so goes to 4, 5, 6 right there, and so go and then there's a break again, and so goes to 3, 2, 1 right there, and we have a break, and then we have our 0, and then the plus sign and the minus sign and the break. We have our multiplication, division, a period, and then break, and finally we have our clear result, which is just a C. If you touch on this, if you click on the C, you're gonna see the result will be cleared, the result field. Right now we can go ahead and see what this looks like. I can really just tap on here and I can immediately see what this looks like. So right now I have an input field, which is the result, and right now I have the buttons, but if I touch them, nothing happens. So let's get back and work on that. Okay, I don't want to leave this this page, so I can just go ahead and give a script tag right here inside this script tag, and I'm just gonna do my whole JavaScript right there. So the first thing, I'm gonna create the functions that I used for the logic, right? The function I've used to add a number or a clicked button to the result is called append to result right here. So append to result. So I'm gonna create that one right now. So in JavaScript, you just do function to create a function. Unlike in Python, we do def. Yeah. So in JavaScript, you do function and then you give it the name of your function, append to result. Yeah. And then you type in your parameter. This one I'm gonna call it value. In Python, we use indentation to define a code block, but in JavaScript you have to use a curly brace, okay, like this one. So inside your code block, you then get the result itself, and then you append a value to it. For example, let's do it. We do document dot get element by, this is a JavaScript function ID. It's just a way to get an element or a tag or whatever inside your document, your HTML document, to get an element by its ID. You can do, there's another one called by get element by class. By class, I think by class name or by class. I think it's by class name or maybe by class, but mostly I use by ID. Okay, so and then you type in the ID of the thing, of the element you want to get. So in my case is result. So inside the result, it's an input field, right? So then dot value, we are fetching the input field, which is called result by its ID, and we're saying that dot value, which means the value that it's inside the input field. You do plus and then equals and then another value. So what is going on right here? So you fetch the value that is at hand, or I mean inside that is inside the result, and then you append or you add it to the value that you type in. So right here we're saying document.get element by ID result, which is our input field, dot value, which is the initial value that is inside. For example, let's say we have 3 inside it, and we do plus equals which is just a way of saying append. Yeah, append value. So whichever value you type should be appended inside the result too, for example. So right now we're just adding things up. This is just a way to add up the things inside the result field. For example, this is the append to result, right? It's the function to append them to inside the result. So here, if I tap on this button in the HTML, it should add things up. It should add it to the result. So right now I can tap 1 and you're gonna see it right there, 9, 8, 5. So our append to result is working. But these things right now, they are strings. I'm gonna show you right here. These are the results that we are passing in, because they are the parameters, right? They're not actually this thing. These things are just right static. We're using these. So we're gonna come back to this and explain things. And I forgot to add the calculate result before, but right now I've added it. It's just a button that on click it calls the calculate result function, and this is it's just the equals sign, you know. So if you type things out and hit the equal sign, you're gonna see the result. So right now we have this one function that calculates that adds things inside our result input field. So we should have another. Let's make another function. Now I'm gonna say function. This one should be clear result. Clear result. The one we have right here. Okay. And this function should just clear the input field to make it empty. Yeah. So inside the code block, I'm gonna just get the input field and clear it. Okay. Set it to an empty string. That is, it's gonna be empty again. It's not gonna have any value. So right now I can type 0 whatever, and if I hit this C, it's gonna clear things up right there. So that everything is working up to this point. Now to the calculate result. So we should also make a function right here. Type in parentheses and then the code block. Okay, the code block, and inside the code block we should do just like the Python's try except block. Okay, but this in JavaScript it's called try catch, and as in, for example, in Python, try except, if you know that. So we're gonna do try, and then we give it a block of code, document dot get element by ID. As usual, the ID is result, so document dot get element by ID result. Then we assign the evaluate function to it. So this function, okay, right here, we call the parenthesis of the function, and then we get another document. We use another document to get element. Document dot get element by ID, and then again result, and then dot value. We're gonna get the value that is inside this result, the input field, and then we set it, we give it we put it inside the eval function. The evaluate function takes in the strings and converts them to mathematical expressions and then returns the result. So if you do 2 plus 2, they're not strings anymore. The strings is gonna go away, the quotes are gonna go away, and then it's gonna evaluate them and return a normal mathematical expression result. If you do 2 plus 2, it's gonna come as 4 because you've used the eval function. But before there was strings. Okay, we're just like converting them to integers and then returning the value. That's what we're doing right here. So that is what the eval function does. It just takes the string and make it an integer or a number. We don't have integer, I think. Here we have a number. Okay, and then return the result. So we do the except block, which is in JavaScript called catch. So if there's an arrow, it's gonna this one is gonna work. Okay, so if we have an arrow, we give it a code block, and then you get id result, and then dot value, whatever value is inside the input field, and you assign it to error. For example, if there's an error in your calculation, this one is going to show up. So you're just going to see a message like this in the input field. It tells you that error, you have an error. That's it. So right now I think we are done with everything that we need to do except for the styling. So right here I'm gonna do an expression to test things out. I'm gonna do 7. Where's plus 7? It's gonna go arrow. Okay, let's go and check out why the try except thing is doing well, because we have an arrow and it says error. So let's go and check why we have gotten an error. Okay, here's the error right here, that we're fetching the value that's inside the result input field. We have not fetched the value. Okay, so let's do dot value. So that was what happened, and then that is why we got an error. So everything should work right now. We get the value and change the value into an integer or number, I mean, and then return the calculated result. So right here things should work right now. So we do 3 times 3 and equals 9. Great. Now clear. We do 8 plus, where's plus 8, we get 16. Great. 0 minus 1, we get minus 1. Okay, so that is our calculator working right now. We should just style it. Okay, now the styling also, I'm gonna do it right on top, and it's gonna be pretty straightforward actually. So I'm gonna do style tags, style, and inside the style tags I'm gonna just do my stylings. I'm gonna start with the calculator, and I'm gonna just do this one, and then the rest I'll just pause and do them, and then come back and show you what I did. Okay, so right now I'm gonna give it width, so width, and it should be 300 pixels because we are on a small screen right now. Okay, so let's check things out right now. Okay, we have this whole calculator thing right here. So we have the calculator with the width that we have given it, and the height would be auto. So as we add things up, the height should expand. So right now I'm gonna pause the recording and just do the styling, and then I'm gonna come back and show you what I did. So this is finally how it looks. As you can see, it's not that kind of professional, but at least it looks better. You can do anything you want, and you can get an answer. So let me show you what I did. Okay, the whole calculator div, I style it, give it a width of 300 pixels, margin auto on the top and bottom, and then on the right and left I gave it auto, and on the top and bottom I gave it 30. Border 1 pixel, padding, I gave it some border radius and some height. The height is auto, and I then get to the result, which is the input field. I gave it a width of 100%, so it will take the whole container, and then pads to margin button to separate it from the buttons, and then some padding and some font, the font size and font weight, and the border of 2 pixels gray. And then takes a line right so that the text appears from the right side of the screen of the input field. And the buttons, this is the buttons container, and the container of the buttons, I centered it. I centered the buttons that are inside the container, and then I give the container a width of auto, a height of 400 pixels, padding, margin, everything is self-explanatory, and then border radius of 20 pixels, and then I give it a background of white smoke. And then inside the buttons container I have buttons, right? So I selected each button, I gave it a padding, some font size, font weight, and some margin. That is how they end out of like this. So if you like videos like this one, please subscribe to my channel. And my name is Elamin from Python Power Show, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Peace.